Hello and welcome to Sri Raj IS. My name is Shashank Roy, and today we are going to talk about a very important topic. And this topic is coming from the Indian Express, and this is related to the launch of India's third nuclear-powered submarine INS Aridaman. So, in this topic, we are going to talk about the importance of nuclear submarine, what is nuclear triad, India's nuclear weapons doctrine, what is second strike capability, why India has launched it, and multiple other things we will talk about. So first of all, this article has been taken from the Indian Express, the significance of India's third nuclear submarine, and this article was written by Amrita Nayak Datta. This is always important to give credit or give due credit to the writer who has written the article. So Amrita Nayak Datta has written this article, and UPSC syllabus talks about GS paper 3 security, nuclear doctrine, strategic deterrence, maritime security. In GS paper 2, this topic will be related to India's strategic positioning, nuclear stability and global power balance. And in essay and interview, this topic may be integrated with credible deterrence in modern warfare, second strike capability, and strategic stability. So, before going through the pages, I want you to understand everything through diagram. So, let's start with the diagrams. First of all, make a rough diagram of India, and here you don't need to be perfect in terms of making diagrams, right? This is India's diagram, India's map. Now, if you look at India's neighborhood, you have two prime adversaries, one Pakistan and second one China as well. Apart from that, we have unstable neighbors as well, such as the one in Nepal. So here it is Pakistan, and here it is China, right? Apart from that, we have multiple neighbors, and we have seen the turmoil in neighborhood, such as the one in Nepal and Gen Z protest. We have Bhutan, right? Bhutan is an ally. We have Bangladesh. We have recently seen turmoil in Bangladesh. We have Myanmar, right? We have Sri Lanka. We have Afghanistan, not exactly immediate, but we may face spillover effect if Afghanistan is in turmoil. So these are India's neighbor. Apart from that, there are Maldives, Mauritius, and Seychelles in Indian Ocean region. These are small time nations. So if you look at India, if you remember, uh, recently happened Operation Sindoor, right? I hope you remember Galwan, a movie of Salman Khan is also coming, talking about Galwan, right? You might have seen Dhurandhar, right? Operation Mumbai terrorist attack, Mumbai terrorist attack. So India's position in Indian Ocean region, while on one hand, Himalayan states give work as a shield for India. They save India from Siberian cold wave, right? So while Himalaya work as a shield for India and saves it from Siberian cold wave, at the same time there are passages in Himalayas, right, which makes it vulnerable for any kind of invasion from northwest frontier or from the China side. So that shield has been weakened now. Now, if you look at India's peninsular state, right, status, it makes India a dominant player in international affairs, in international trade, right, in geopolitics, in geoeconomics and geostrategic arena. India has a long coastline of 11,000 kilometers, but at the same time, India is also vulnerable for any kind of security related threats. We've also witnessed that China is rising its footprint in Indian Ocean region, and on multiple occasions, we found that Chinese submarines are entering into Indian Ocean region. Apart from that, China has also built military bases under Belt and Road Initiative. So, keeping in mind the adversity profile, right, keeping in mind India's geographical location, and keeping in mind the adversaries or neighborhood or the risk associated with national security, India has to develop a deterrence capacity. So now this nuclear triad is a part of that. Now what exactly is nuclear triad? Right, here it is. Nuclear triad. Nuclear triad. It means that now India has the capacity to launch nuclear weapon system from land, from air, and from water. Now, this is what is nuclear triad, right? In 2014, we launched our first nuclear submarine, and then in 2024 we launched another, and now this is 2026 when we've launched the third nuclear powered submarine. The first was Arihant, INS Arihant. The second was INS Arighat, and the third one is Aridaman. Right, these were launched. If the sequence is wrong, please correct me if in the comment section. So we can launch nuclear weapon systems from land, from air, and water. The first was launched in 2014, then in 2024 our INS Arighat, and 2026 INS Aridaman. So this is what is nuclear triad. Now the question is, why nuclear triad is important? Why nuclear triad is important? Why? Because if you look at US-Iran war, or if you look at Ukraine-Russia war, if you look at Israel-Hamas conflict, you will get to know that it's extremely easy to destroy the land-based nuclear capability of a country, of adversary. It's easy to destroy the land-based nuclear capability or nuclear installation of a country. And again, it is difficult, it takes a lot of time for the air deployment of nuclear headed weapon systems, but it's extremely easy and safe to deploy your nuclear related activities underwater. Why? Because underwater submarines can stay underwater for a long time, stay underwater for a very long time, right? They can do a surveillance activity. They can do apart from surveillance activity, they can do reconnaissance. They can launch weapon system, and it is a bit difficult to detect the activities of submarines. So in comparison of land-based nuclear facilities, it is important. It's easier to maintain, not easier I would say, but it is a safer site, so that in case of any destruction to your land base or air capacity, what can happen? Your continuous nuclear related activities or nuclear related deterrence can be activated, through submarines. So submarines play a very critical role in a nuclear deterrence of a country. I hope this thought process is clear. So in this way, why we need nuclear triad, and what is second strike capability? What is second strike capability? Second strike capability means that if one of your nuclear arm is destroyed, or the second one is destroyed, you have another source to launch your nuclear weapon or nuclear assault on adversary. I hope this thought process is clear. Now, so what we have discussed India's geographical location, India's compulsion for a strong military and nuclear deterrence. We discussed about what is nuclear triad and what is nuclear second strike capability. We also discussed about 2014, 24, and 2026. Now we'll talk about the challenges of maintaining submarines, right? We'll talk about at a later stage. First of all, India's third nuclear submarine, why it matters. Now, India has taken a major step in strengthening its nuclear deterrence, enhancing sea-based strike capability. It's not just an addition of a platform, it's shift toward credible and survivable deterrence, so that if one arm of your nuclear triad is destroyed, or the second one destroyed, the third one is still working. Next is understanding what is nuclear triad. Nuclear triad consists of three delivery systems. The first one is land-based, the second one is air-based, and the third one is sea-based nuclear submarines. So land-based systems vulnerable to first strike, air-based system, required operational readiness, and sea-based system, hidden and survivable. So I hope you might have seen the Ghazi attack. Recently, there was a movie of Rana Dugubati, The Ghazi Attack. I will suggest you to watch this movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, The Ghazi Attack. Next is why submarines are game changers. Nuclear submarines operate under deep water with minimal detection. They can stay underwater for a very prolonged time. They are nuclear powered, so it is extremely difficult to detect. They possess the second strike capability. Even after suffering a nuclear attack, India retains the ability to retaliate through submarines, and it has become extremely important, keeping in mind China's rising footprint in Indian Ocean region. Apart from that, the recent attack of Iran on Diego Garcia, I think Chagos Island, or Indian Ocean island, and the torpedo attack of Iranian warship in the month of March. The same warship which was returning from India's naval symposium, international fleet review, while it was in Indian Ocean region in international water, it was attacked, it was torpedoed by US warship. So keeping in mind in these incidences, India is preparing itself for nuclear deterrence. So this is it. Arihant class submarine, INS Arihant was commissioned in 2016, Arihant 2024, and Aridaman expected to be 2026. It is already launched today. Features are this INS Aridaman is nuclear powered propulsion, long endurance underwater, and ballistic missile launch capability. Now, what this submarine consists? This consists K-15 Sagarika. This is the short range missile system with 700-kilometer range, and K-4 missiles with 3,500-kilometer range, and it can also launch vertical tubes. Vertical tube launches means that from the submarine they can launch a weapon system, launch a nuclear weapon in a vertical style, not only in horizontal. Right? How this changes India's strategy? Earlier, India has only limited sea-based deterrence, but now it has a possibility of continuous submarine patrolling across Indian Ocean region. Now, it has more submarines means continuous deployment, and continuous deployment means assured retaliation. So definitely it will not be a great news for Pakistani establishment or Chinese establishment. Now, what is the strategic significance of submarine? They ensure the credible. First of all, India has the no first use doctrine. We will not use nuclear weapons for the first time, but if we are attacked, we will launch a crippling attack on adversary. So, though we maintain that we will not launch first, we will not use nuclear weapon first, but we will definitely retaliate, and we will retaliate with strong crippling capacity. So credible minimum deterrence, assured retaliation capability. Now we have joined the club of those countries with the same kind of capability: USA, Russia, China, and France. So limitation and challenges. What are the challenges associated with submarines? The high cost of development and maintenance, and technological complexity. We have reactors, stealth, and communication. Sometimes communication underwater becomes extremely difficult. So communication challenges are also there when submarine is submerged, and it is always good that submarines are submerged, because if they are on the surface, if they are easy to detect, they might be attacked by the adversaries, right? Few years back there was a submarine related accident which killed many naval officers and submarine officers. So difficulty in maintaining stealth operation, so it requires robust command and control system. This is the limitation, but keeping in mind that it's a strategic utility. It's a great news that India has launched the third nuclear powered submarine in India and completed its nuclear triad. Now, future roadmap: India is expanding its nuclear submarine fleet, development of nuclear powered attack submarines, indigenous capabilities building. It is working on advanced reactors, long range SLBMs, and full spectrum maritime deterrence. So this is the mnemonic. You can remember it through Triad as T for triad completion, R for retaliation assured, I for invisible, A for at sea deterrence, D for deterrence strengthened, and S for strategic stability. And this is the mind map. So this is it in this article. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I would love to see your comments in the comment section. Thank you so much. Wish you a wonderful day ahead. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.